Laker fans, how we doing? My name is Sammy along here with Hoops Talk. Today we got some big news. Darvin Ham is no longer the Los Angeles Lakers head coach. What a shame. Real bummer that he's not there. I got three things I'm gonna get into today. Why he was fired, possible candidates to replace him, and is Plinka the next to be let go? He's kind of avoided a lot of the fire, a lot of heat that kind of was put on Ham, which I completely agree with. But how long is the leash on him? How long does he have? We'll get into that a little bit later. But why he was fired? I mean, do we have all day here? There is so many things. It took him like over half a season to realize that the lineup that went to the Western Conference Finals the year before should work and you should play. I mean, it literally took him over half a year. And, the Lakers are struggling to get in the play-in and struggling to fight to fight to even get in the playoffs. And, he seemed to put it together. When he finally did, then they started winning. And you wonder what would have happened if he had started the season with that and kept going with it or got to it a month or two earlier, where the Lakers would have been. Probably would have, not had to been fighting as much at the end of the year and could have rested guys. And who knows, you get a different matchup in the playoffs. Maybe the Lakers are more rested for the Nuggets. Who knows? I think a thing that really frustrated me personally, I think a lot of Laker fans, is the lack of timeouts. I mean, I just didn't think he knew what he was doing, in the sense of how many times did we come on the postgame show with Allen and the comments were littered with, why didn't Ham call a timeout? Early in the year, I mean, it was like getting like repetitive every night. The Lakers were getting huge leads every game, and he would just, and by the second, third quarter, he just, the lead would get evaporated, and he would not call a timeout. It didn't matter how big the lead was. To stop it. I mean, this is basketball 101. This is stuff high school coaches know. When another team goes on a run, you call a timeout to halt their momentum, give some coaching, give guys a break, and kind of draw up a play to maybe get an easy bucket and kind of get the Lakers back on track. He would not do it. I mean, game one against the Nuggets, 12-point lead, blown. Game two, 20-point lead, blown. Game three, 12-point lead, and then game four they won. And then in game five they lead at halftime as well. So, I mean, how many of these things do you have to go through? Especially game two was kind of the nail in the coffin per reports. You can't do it. You can't be up 20 in Denver and lose the game. I mean, the Lakers were up 20. He didn't call a timeout until they were losing. There was a timeout when it got cut to 12 because there was a TV timeout. Not because he took it. He got bailed out because there was a TV timeout. And then he waited till the Lakers were like losing by 2 and then called a timeout. I mean, like, you're just watching, the crowd, especially in a road playoff game, the crowd is itching to get into it. They're dying for anything for the Nuggets to do so they can get up out of their seat and start yelling. And they go on these little runs, and he's just not doing anything about it. And it was just frustrating to watch, and I don't get it. Other games in the series, LeBron, I believe it was game 4, LeBron and D'Lo, 2 different times screamed at Ham to challenge. LeBron yelled at Ham, and he didn't do it, and LeBron was losing his mind. And then D'Lo, when the Lakers were going to win the game, but there was a foul on the other end of the floor, and he's screaming at Darvin Ham to call a timeout and challenge. And Ham's like looks wide-eyed, like he saw a ghost, and then finally does it because the whole arena is yelling at him. Game 2, when they're up 20, he goes home with 2 timeouts and a challenge in his pocket in a 2-point loss, buzzer beater loss. Remember the D'Angelo Russell marginal contact that the D marginal, and he even though got slapped in the face. Well, then the very next play, Jamal Murray gets bumped and it tapped by LeBron. Completely was not a foul, and he doesn't call a timeout. Who knows if you challenge that play, what happens? I mean, just things over and over again. Also, one of the other things that I really didn't think he did a good job with is the developing young talent. I mean, the Lakers are actually a young team, and you look at the ages on the roster, besides obviously LeBron, who's going to be 40, and AD is only 31, 32, but he feels older because of all the injuries and stuff like that. But they are a pretty young team. But he would not develop young talent in terms of, Jalen Hood-Schifino and Max Christie. Jalen Hood-Schifino, maybe I'll give him somewhat of a pass. It didn't look like he put him in at the end of games and the Lakers had leads. And he didn't really look like he had it. Who knows? Hopefully, he can get it kind of back on track. And then he got injured there the last month of the year. But Max Christie was a guy who was going off in Summer League. And yes, I know Summer League is Summer League, but he still was going off. And then when he got game action, he looked good. throughout most of the season, throughout all the season, the Lakers struggled for 3-point shooting. And they were really bad the first half. And then when D'Lo got going, they kind of were able to like keep the numbers all right in terms of 3-point shooting because he was hitting at a really high rate. Besides that, there weren't really hitting threes. LeBron had a nice, 3-point year. Not too many other guys were hitting too many shots. And you have this sharpshooter who's young sitting on the bench, and he wouldn't play him. There was like a time earlier this year where there was 1 week where he played him a lot because of injuries. I believe he had like back-to-back games with double-digit points, and then he just puts him right back on the bench. And how many times have we, maligned as fans? The Lakers feel like they're getting outrun by young teams with young guards who are just young and fast and really can get up and go. Even if they're not necessarily more talented, the Lakers had issues with. And you have a guy who's young, fresh. He may not, be the best defender because of his frame, but he gives a lot of effort defensively, and he can hit shots, a 3-point sniper, and he's just sitting there and doesn't give any time. And for most of the year, I gotta give him some credit because he did play well in the playoffs. Taurean Prince was doing nothing. Spencer Dinwiddie, the whole time he was a Laker, wasn't doing anything. Why not give Max Christie a shot? Why not? What do you have to lose? Dinwiddie wasn't doing anything. So, I mean, it's not like you're taking away 12 points a game by benching him. At least Prince kind of got it going at the end there. So didn't like that at all. I'm glad he's gone. I know a lot of people are glad too. The possible candidates to replace him. Woj reporting, there's 5 candidates early. Mike Budenholzer, who won a title with the Bucks and was coach of the year with Atlanta, is a top option. Kenny Atkinson, who was head coach of the Brooklyn Nets for 4 years and has been assistant with Golden State ever since. JJ Reddick, who that's kind of the polarizing one, former player, hosts Mind the Game with LeBron, the podcast. I'll get into more about that, JJ Reddick, in a minute. James Borrego is kind of more of an outside candidate, I believe, but coached the Hornets for 4 years, now assistant for New Orleans. He's an option. Ty Lue apparently was high on the Lakers list. Woj kind of threw some cold water on today, said it's not realistic. He actually has 1 year left on his contract with the Clippers, and they want to make him the long-term answer at head coach. That sounds like what they want to do, and it makes sense. They're moving into the new arena. Ty Lue's a good coach. Probably don't want to upset the apple cart there. So that one's probably not happening. And the Lakers tried to get him before they hired Frank Vogel. They actually offered him the job, and they couldn't come to an agreement. So Frank Vogel ended up getting it. And then, the rest is history. So out of those, it's interesting. Budenholzer is probably the safest and maybe the best because of the veteran presence. He's won a title. He's very respected around the league. Great coach. And he's not going to get bullied by anyone on the team, whether it be LeBron, AD, D'Lo if he's there, Reeves, whoever. Budenholzer's not going to get pushed around where like Darvin Ham was. JJ Redick's interesting. This has been talked about for a while. There were reports that, around head coaching circles around the league weeks ago that he was a popular candidate to get a head coaching job. Apparently, he's been the Charlotte Hornets like top pick. Obviously, though, but if you're offered the choice between Charlotte and LA, coaching the Lakers, I mean, what do you think you're going to pick? But he's going to pick the Lakers. But LeBron, it sounds like he wants him. There's been reports he wants him. Obviously, he's good friends with him, does the podcast. This is where it gets into my next point, is Plinka next to be let go. What do you do if you're Rob Plinka and Jeannie Buss? Do we cater to LeBron? Do we give LeBron what he wants and, hire JJ Redick? And I'm not saying that that's not the answer, because I actually like JJ Redick and I would not be mad at the hire. I think he's a really good basketball mind. Well respected. I actually don't think, even though he's like younger than LeBron or he's the same age, that he would get pushed around. But it is his first time coaching, and I think where the team goes here, if they go JJ Redick or Budenholzer, is going to tell a lot for how the offseason signings and draft's going to go. Obviously the reports that the Lakers want to draft Bronny James. Whatever you think on that, I feel bad for Bronny because he's getting his name kind of dragged through the mud. And he's just trying to, develop his skills and get drafted. But because LeBron wants to play with him, teams are like going to take him way higher than he should go because they want LeBron to come. And, he's got all this pressure on him, and, that comes with being LeBron James' son. But, the Lakers certainly shouldn't take him with the 17th pick. I mean, that would be crazy. There's nothing to show that he's shown yet, and Bronny James could develop to be a great player. that he's worthy of the 17th overall pick. If he wasn't, James wasn't his last name, he would not even be talked about in the 17th overall pick. So, for a team that needs an influx of young talent, they cannot waste a pick at 17 on that. If you want to sign him an undrafted free agency, I guess, but then who's coaching the team? If you sign JJ Redick's head coach and you draft Bronny, is it just LeBron coaching the team like it has been for a long time? Where did LeBron have the most success? Miami, when Eric Spoelstra didn't care that LeBron was the biggest star in basketball. He's like, I'm the head coach of this team. And that's where they had a lot of success. Ty Lue, same thing. Plinka has avoided a lot of the heat that went on Darvin Ham, and I agree with it. But, Vogel, we can't say it didn't not work out because they got a title out of it, but obviously it didn't end super great. He had some very questionable rotation decisions in that series against the Suns, not playing Montrezl Harrell. And then Darvin Ham obviously did not work out. So this is kind of Plinka's last run here with, you got to get this, because if not, people are going to point to Plinka that he can't be the GM anymore. And Genie's probably going to have to do something about that. There's been some questionable decisions before in terms of trades. Obviously, the Russell Westbrook deal did not work out for anybody. It worked out, not for the Lakers. You're trading Kuzma. I believe KCP was in that deal. Montrezl Harrell, you could say LeBron facilitated the deal, which I do believe happened, but Rob Plinka is the guy making the call. So he could have told LeBron no, but he didn't do that. The AD deal obviously kind of worked out for both sides. AD's superstar, got the Lakers a title, but all those guys are having success on other teams. Josh Hart's killing it with the Knicks. Brandon Ingram's killing it with the Pelicans. Randall's hurt right now, but he's great on the Knicks. Lonzo's obviously dealt with a lot of injuries, but Julius Randle left in free agency, but they let him go because of obviously LeBron AD. He wouldn't really fit with them. So is Plinka next to be let go? What's the leash on this? He's got to get this right. How much input does LeBron have? Let's not forget, LeBron's 40. It's not like he's 30 and he's best player in basketball. And you're like, okay, all right. We're just going to kind of give him what he wants because, he's that much better than everyone else. He's not going to be with the Lakers for that many more years. And Rich Paul kind of hinted 2-3 more years. How many of those are going to be high level players or high level years? Obviously there's a lot of wear and tear on the tires. You see he's still playing at elite level, but in the fourth quarter of games, he seems more gassed than he was. Plinka's got to take back control of this team and hire the right head coach. And maybe that is JJ Redick. But especially, I want to see him free agency in the draft. I don't want to see just what LeBron wants. I want to see this team set up for the future. That when LeBron leaves, we're not in a pit for 5 years because he just went in trying to get, one season. Draft and develop young players. Get a coach who's going to value a Max Christie, who's going to value a Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's going to value the 17th overall pick that comes in, assuming the Pelicans give it to us, and take it from there and set the Lakers up for success. And that's where, if the Lakers get a great supporting cast and you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, the Lakers could win a chip. So it's going to be interesting. They said there's going to be an extensive search, probably going to take a few weeks. It's going to tell a lot about what the Lakers are going to do this summer, but can't wait. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of content posted up throughout here. Alan's going to be doing a bunch of videos. I'm going to be doing some as well. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you.